Charter Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. Glad you're with us. Our guest is Michael Rubio, member of the California State Senate, and you are from the Central Valley, where water is so very important. And I remember thinking when I was younger that why isn't California 2 states? It's so large. Then my mother told me because of water. Sure. It's all about the water in the north coming to the south. As you know, there's a water bond on the ballot this coming fall. It's a mishmash, but it's there. It's $11 billion. How are you feeling about the water bond?
Well, it's going to more than likely be postponed to 2014.
You think so?
I think if you were a betting man, that's what you ought to bet for two reasons. One, there's a competing item with the governor's tax initiative that will be on the ballot. So I think some suspect that it will compete with it. And then secondly, we have to wrestle with this water bond to reduce the price tag. $11 billion is too much. And so we ought to be able to narrow it down to the priorities and succeed and do what is in the best interest of the state.
But there have been attempts recently to limit the size of the water bond. I know, for example, something like Kevin Jeffries recommended, let's just cut it 25%, pork, non-pork, 25%. That didn't go anywhere.
Timing is everything in this building,
right.
At least in Sacramento. And so I think you're going to find that there's going to be a coalition come together to say, hey, listen, what we need is the art of possibility. So what passes at the ballot? What you saw in the first bond was the art of getting it passed in the legislature. Which
was huge. I mean, honestly, I think back to 2009, I mean, do you really want to go back and try to renegotiate a bill that had Fran Pavley on the left and Tony Strickland on the right agreeing?
If it doesn't pass the electorate, I say we have to. I mean, so that's, we have to work as to what's going to get passed. But secondly, happening at the same time of the water bond is arguably one of the most important infrastructure projects in our state's history, and it's the Bay Delta Conservation Plan.
So let's talk about that. I know you have been a booster of that plan.
Absolutely.
Talk to us about it. Introduce the concept to our viewers.
Sure. As you know, when Pat Brown, the governor that built some of the greatest infrastructure projects, the one part of the water delivery system, as your mother talked about, from the north to southern part of California, we didn't resolve the issues related to the Delta. A small little very sensitive ecosystem that's just south of Sacramento, which we have to divert water around that particular section because right now we have a decline in fish, the ecosystem. It's also happened to be right on top of some major earthquake faults. And so to protect the water reliability to everyone who lives south of Sacramento, there's a planning process underway.
90% of the state, if you think about it.
Over 20 million people.
Right, I was going to say.
And so there's a planning process called the Bay Delta Conservation Plan, which is underway today to develop the plan and the finished product as to how we will move water around this very sensitive ecosystem. This project has been estimated over 7.5 years will generate 129,000 jobs. But it costs zero to the general fund.
But it will cost $12.5 billion to make.
Paid by the users, everyone downstream, south of Sacramento.
How is that going to happen?
So if you live, for instance, in Los Angeles, which I believe you do,
yes, I do.
Then you will pay a small fee for that construction for the life of that plan.
Is this going forward?
Oh, it is, and it has
This already happened. What you just described, there's no initiative. This is happening as we speak.
No initiative, there's a planning process. I have a bill, SB 250, which has been introduced to say this planning process should be completed by February 2013. Senator Feinstein introduced a similar bill within the U.S. Senate, and the reason behind it is we can't wait for a natural disaster, an earthquake, to completely change the landscape of our water.
And let's talk about that, because as I understand it, the Bay Area, where the Delta is, faces a huge possibility of a large earthquake.
Absolutely.
We know what happened in New Orleans when they had a natural disaster. So are we ready? How quickly can we get this done, if indeed we need to get it done?
Unfortunately, we're not ready. When you talk about a contingency plan, they point to large stockpiles of rock and steel that would basically then drudge a canal right in the middle of the Delta to provide the 20 million plus Los Angeles folks water. This is the most important issue facing California.
Okay, stay tuned. His name is Michael Rubio, member of the California State Senate. My name is Brad Pomerance. I want to thank you so much for watching Charter Local Edition. And now we're going to send you back to HLN.
Ever since we got Charter Internet, Timothy's been acting a little...
odd.
Charter has increased its internet upload and download speeds again. I can download 8 songs in 3 seconds, or an entire movie in 2 minutes. I can do anything. I am the internet.
Timothy?
Invisibility!
I can still see you, you know.
Don't have Charter Internet? Call today and get speeds up to 30 megs for only $30 a month.